drop his priority quite a bit. And if he just falls out of the meta completely or very significantly, it does affect both of these teams very badly. As I love to see Dread on an aggressive jungler.
Yeah, first time we've seen it on this patch, actually.
Yeah, and it's going to go through here. So Xin Zhao is going to be the starting pick, and I think it could end up being the new kind of Rumble sort of style first pick jungle. And Olaf!
Peanuts on the Olaf hype train. I saw the karma and I was like, oh no, this is exactly what it's going to be, isn't it? And 100% is. They grab an enchanter and they give Peanut the Viking in the jungle, and that's his answer to the Xin Zhao.
Very different style already in this game to what we saw in the previous series.
Yeah.
Now, do you get Fly's Orianna here? Because if you don't, it's a really strong pick for Nongshim. So, gonna grab the Lulu instead, at least for the time being here.
Do we Lulu Kog'Maw right off the rip? They could theoretically do that.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. But you're pretty face up with
Lulu
that.
Aphelios?
Lulu Aphelios sounds just too crazy for me. I'm not into that.
I mean, Aphelios is pretty strong right now.
He is, but not gonna have a Thresh. Yeah, I like the Gwen pick a lot more here. Damage profile is pretty good for Afreeca so far. Really strong pressure on the top side of the map. And as Doctom Ziggs again?
Yeah, we saw this permaban the last time around and it will be locked in, so Doctom is going to get that Ziggs once more. Making me feel like the Karma's going to go into a solo lane, but it could also be just an extraordinarily oppressive, disgusting shove lane on the bottom side of the map.
I don't even like to think about it.
No, it feels dirty, doesn't it? We don't want to really give it lip service. It's like, no, that's revolting.
The Ezreal gets banned. They could also potentially ban the Sivir here, but it doesn't work very well with what Afreeca have drafted thus far.
If Deft showed us anything, Sivir didn't necessarily work.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I wouldn't mind to see something like a Jinx ban here. You know, there's no Thresh, right? There's no Tahm Kenchi's disabled in the LCK for this this patch, but ban away the Yuumi.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're definitely assuming that Fly is going to be playing the Lulu. It's another neutralizing lane for Fly. Does make a lot of sense. Otherwise, you might have seen something like a Kog'Maw ban coming through.
There's a lot of AD carries available still for Leo to play. And we're going to learn a lot about what he wants to do in this meta. The Varus is still up, but you know, it's tricky right now. No one's even really figured out how Varus has fully changed with the removal of his favorite item. And see what happens here for Nongshim now, because we're going to get a little bit more information about that bottom lane. Eventually, actually going to be the Jace blind.
No.
Or not blind, sorry, into the Gwen.
And it also is going to be Rich on back to one of his old favorites, right? We called Rich a bit of a specialist. In fact, we have our two biggest specialists that are remaining in the LCK. I think Crown was the first. And then, you know, Fly and Rich really are the guys that like to stay with their picks. And Jace was one of Rich's, as Tristana coming in here. Leo gaining a little bit more early game power with that ability to scale as well.
Still could be support Lulu here with Fly picking up, you know, a mage in the mid lane. So let's wait and see if that ends up being the case here. Nope.
Yep, just going to be the Rakan that comes in, just able to follow Dread if he does decide to go aggressive. A lot of explosions, explosive charge and the satchel charge, both on the bottom side of the map, so I'm a bit frustrated.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of bouncing around.
Yeah.
It's going to be
a lot of abilities that are basically called the same thing.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried as we see the last lock in here for Kellen is going to be the Nautilus. I'm a bit worried about the composition here for Afreeca because yes, they have a lot of gap close with, you know, Lulu being able to speed up the Gwen, the Xin Zhao to actually get on top of these, you know, poking players on Nongshim. You got so much poke from Ziggs, you got so much poke from Jace. But with a really strong front line with the Olaf here that Nongshim have, and the Karma that's just going to, I think, as the game goes on, outperform what Lulu is going to be able to do in terms of the shielding. I'm not sure if Tristana is going to be blowing people up and killing people later on in the game. She needs to get an early lead, and then she can absolutely carry. Then she can actually absolutely pop off.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because if Leo doesn't die in the initial salvo, then theoretically the DPS potential out of Afreeca is much higher.
Yeah.
Because they don't have, like, on the other side, they don't have a traditional AD carry. But we saw the fact that Ziggs, if allowed to get to the late game, is just insane. And we've always known this, but for different reasons. It's extraordinarily long range. I'm going to just instantly kill you with a bomb. So both teams with the ability to play until late, but both of them with very different means as to how to do that. And I think that the poke power coming through from this Nongshim roster, alongside the fact that when they want to go, Peanut sprints in there and there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
It's a little bit frightening.
Yeah, you can just kind of engage safely without ever being punished as, you know, Duck Dom here, and so you're going to be able to get a lot of that poke off. But the damage throughput is definitely way higher, as you mentioned, with the actual AD carry of Tristana on the other side. So excited to see how this one goes. Excited to see more Ziggs.
Yeah, me too. Ziggs has worked out very, very well thus far. Pretty much, he's 100% win rate on the bottom side of the map this season, right? Because Duck Dom won against Def Siva, yes, and then Def beat him with it.
Yeah. You're correct. And see if Duck Dom can maintain that here once again. I have a lot of faith in this comp too, because the one thing you have to really worry about is the Jin Zhao combo, right? But with Peanut always being there on the front line, it's hard to actually pull that off. Where he goes in, gets wild growth, you know, puts down the challenge, and then he kills somebody, right?
Yeah, Peanut lying in wait. We'll find the undertow as Rich is going to turn it. Keen's going to have to dash here, over the wall, of course. Flash here, dash here. He actually did take Flash,
He did take Flash, yeah.
Which is interesting. Had the dash back available.
That's exactly what was in my brain, too. I'm like, well, he actually does have Flash.
Yeah. Very confused. I actually caught myself because I'm like, obviously he doesn't have Flash, and then he did have Flash. So I felt a little bit silly. As they're still waiting, looking for like a late invade or something, and over he goes again. Now he's going to have to Flash.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's really unfortunate because, as we've talked about a little bit, the Jace into the Gwen in the early game is often so oppressive that she gets zoned out of experience and sometimes even zoned out of last hits and sometimes out of experience. But see how it goes this time around. I think that's the idea why we saw that aggressive play there too from Peanut to try to even further snowball this early game for Rich.
Give Rich the best start possible because they know that Keen is so pivotal to the Afreeca win condition. Plus, when they do have this Enchanter in the mid lane, you can certainly boost up the Gwen's ability to do damage. She's an auto-attacking AP carry. And therefore, Lulu going to be very valuable. Meanwhile, here on the bottom side is what the heck was that, Leo, as he's decided to go right on top of Duck Dom.
That was actually super
sick. That was the satchel charge. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It looked like a rocket jump, and I'm like, wait a second.
That was a really nice hook into the satchel charge combo there. And yeah, it looked like Leo was actually just going on a bit of a trip. But
yeah. I apologize, everyone. That just, the interaction looked very, very strange. As once again, Leo is going to do a rocket jump provided by Duck Dom.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, this bottom lane is going to be very bouncy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of explosions. It is going to be kind of hard to track what's happening, but we'll do our best to lock that in for you guys. But it's very oppressive what we see here with the Ziggs.
It's just annoying.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, Duck Dom being very frustrating. I feel like that is the main avenue of skill expression on the Ziggs is the satchel charge, and I like that Duck Dom took it before the minefield, but he's gone through almost all of his mana now. So just trying to keep this one shoved as much as possible.
He's doing a great job of it. Meanwhile, over here...
Yeah, Fly gonna get snared just for a moment, but I mean, I don't know whether anyone's killing each other in that lane. As Peanut gonna be able to grab the Rift Scuttler on the bottom side. Let's see whether he can grab a double scuttle. Probably not likely, but it is going to be an advantage. Oh, bomb onto Leo.
Yeah, and Leo's forced to back here first because the health bar, of course, is way more important than the mana bar, and once you're pushed out like this, Duck Dom is very happy to just take full control. Lehend is going to have to get out of here.
Wait a second. Duck Dom... Look to see... No, okay, he didn't start Sapphire Crystal. I was like, is he going the Dark Technology? But he's not.
Not this time.
I'm not going to go for that one. Thank goodness. If that made it to Pro Play, I'd be... I don't know. I don't know why I'd be upset, but I would.
You'd be a little bit worried, you know?
Yeah.
We'd all have to
Comes back with a lost chapter and just causes the whole lane to be over. I don't really want it. As Fly, just going to get out of the way here. Both of the mid laners just using all of their mana.
And Duck Dom goes back, buys a tier, buys the Sapphire, and he is going to have a lot more mana now, and he is going to be snowballing this lane to more oppression. Meanwhile, Leo grabs the Cull, because he knows that his ability to actually put any pressure on in this lane or to actually, look for kill pressure is basically null. So might as well just try to get a little bit of extra gold and sit back and make this a completely farming-based lane.
Yep.
Which is, not always what Tristana wants, but in a game like this, absolutely, because you just want to survive to the late game. You don't need to be ahead. You just need to have that damage throughput later on.
Yeah, I find it's sort of awkward when it's Ziggs versus Triss, because both of them are okay with going late, but Triss does have a bit of that trough in sort of the mid-game where she's sitting on 2 items that don't feel as good as 3. But 1 item, she's very strong. So we'll see whether Afreeca are going to be able to fight around that.
Yeah, Rich messed up his Q there, actually. Just hit it on the mist, so Keen is very deadly right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to have to go home. But he does have teleport advantage. So all of this mana that he's eating through from Keen is all just good news for Rich. So we'll be able to get back. The wave's actually in a decent spot for the Jace as well, as we can see.
Yeah.
Will teleport. Doesn't quite have enough for the serrated Dirk, but that's okay.
It's been a pretty quiet early game here for Dread. It's just farming, but is getting out farmed at the moment.
Yep.
And that's, you know, what he can accomplish in this game is very limited by the bot prio. And, you know, it's hard to kill anybody in the mid lane, as you pointed out. It's just very difficult to be Xin Zhao in this game until the mid-game fights. You're not going to get any early ganks or any kills unless somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah, I'm like... Yeah, Peanut looking for an opportunity here towards the bottom side. Before I go on to my musings, I will allow this one to happen as Leo buffeted it, but it was going to miss anyway. As Peanut's just going to wander out, he's like, well, Kellen, you can't do your job. I'm just going to leave. He 100% is.
Very scary right now for Rich to continue to push the issue because they don't know where Dread was.
Yep.
So he just decides to allow him to walk away.
Should be a scuttle going over to Dread here towards the top side of the map, I believe. As Gory down to about 50%, but not too worried about it. As, yep, that is Drake.
Gory gets the root there. He's like, ha, that root denies you 1 CS. That's the advantage I can get in this lane.
And he's
outplayed.
As it turns out, means nothing, but was definitely cool, right, guys?
That's the skill expression in this matchup. So we'll get the Drake. And Kellen is looking for something here with Peanut.
Yeah, Fly's actually quite low, but he can just skippy and run around. The Lulu things, I need to make sure that I don't get excited about Lulu potentially dying as Kellen misses a stationary wall with his dredge line, which is unfortunate.
Well,
just a hair's breadth away.
The group up here is very early for Nongshim for this Rift Herald fight. We're still 30 seconds out, so the timing of this is really nice for Afreeca because they can just take their time to rotate over. Now Nongshim are like moving away and losing vision control.
Yeah, this is interesting though because Docdom has teleport, right? So if Leo's just chilling here towards the bottom side, then it should mean that Herald priority should be in the hands of Nongshim.
Yeah.
But it looks like Peanut's going for a bit of a reset here. And it might be that Dread is just able to nab this one with the fact that the Olaf is absent.
Yep, he does use a smite to start this, and we'll have the 900 smite to finish it once those 15 seconds time out. They've got the better group up. Yep. And unfortunately for Nongshim, like this rotation up with Kellen, it could have been amazing if they got the pick on the fly. It would have been really valuable, and they could transition that into a lead here on this Rift Herald, but because they're unable to do so, it ends up just being fantastic here for Afreeca.
Nongshim going for a bit of a long con here. They grab the first Drake, make sure that Afreeca don't have necessarily that Drake stacking win condition. But both of these comps, they're really interesting when you talk about like who's going to be happily scaling and whatnot, right? Because Docdom is on Ziggs, who is historically one of the greatest late game carries in the game, right? Because you can throw death from a million years away. As I'm gonna have to hold the thought as Kellen has to flash Dread, immediately flashes after and picks up first blood. As Peanut has to do the same thing, but Leo's right behind him. Grabs another one, the resets are coming in. Gory might be the next one on the menu. The slow's beautiful, and it's a double kill for the Tristana. And I guess I can stop talking about scaling.
And Docdom just tosses in a big bomb, and everybody's health bars go down about 20%, but that's it. I mean, that's all he was able to do in that fight. He just did not expect his team to get caught there, even though they knew Leo was not on the bot side of the map. He had the kind of feeling that Nongshim were fine to be there. This is going to be a ton of extra value over to Dread.
And if you've ever played a game of League of Legends with a Xin Zhao in it, and he gets a couple of kills in the early game,
you know how it's
just not a lot of fun, right? That champion snowballs pretty gross. As Keen looking for Rich here, some snips come out, and that's the flash.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful about getting a Gwen's health bar low and then actually deciding that you're going to continue to push the issue because she will just get right back up.
Yeah.
And with her ability to block Jace's shockwave there, super easy for her to turn that exchange as long as she times it well, which she did. Or he did in this case, Keen, of course, being the one who timed it.
Indeed.
And this fight here, as Duckdom, you're farming super greedy on the bottom side of the map, and you feel like, okay, well, I've got my ult, so I can still make an impact in this fight, and it should be fine, right? But you're just completely outnumbered. And even at this stage of the game, Tristana's output is so high.
Well,
And
also, it's like,
mana.
yeah, and they walk in when they don't have the right amount of people.
Yeah.
되지 임마 먹어 바텀 가자 혼나요 우리 정글 들어오면
Was not very polite about what he said about that. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it. Like, it's basically saying you're gonna get punched if you go in there. Didn't use a very polite word, but
I was listening. I'm like, this sounds like smack talk,
Definitely
but
is.
I didn't understand it.
But Duckdom, like, I mean, he, on one hand, he has the ability to have that impact with his ult, but like, yeah, you're just way outnumbered there.
Yeah.
I mean, by one player, but that's all it takes. Like that.
And I mean, I guess, you know, like Doctor threw his ult and still did half of Leo's health bar, but when you're just trying to run away, it's just not going to be able to help anything, right?
If Leo lives, he does way more than that ult amount of damage over time, right? And that's the scary part. And that's kind of the discussion of Ziggs versus Tristana, what their function is in the late game, but you could see it obviously matters in the early game fights here too, these little skirmishes. As this is a big rotation from Afreeca.
Yeah. What? Okay. Sometimes bouncing bomb just trolls you like that, as Dread is able to walk underneath.
Yeah, that was some like Dragoon AI.
Yeah, that was seriously some Dragoon AI, man.
Something spaghetti code. All about spaghetti today, I guess.
Yep. Dropping it on the floor, turning it into a video game. Oh my goodness. All sorts of different things. As Peanut, not going to find the ward that's chilling over here, as I believe he was spotted by a fly on that ward. As in goes Lahens. That's going to be a beautiful little quickness, and Gori's dead. Dread grabs another kill, 2-0-2 on the Zen. And oh dear, Teppanyaki, what is it? Oh, dang it. We were talking about this just the other day. I was asking you what the name of the game was. Teppanyaki's definitely food.
Oh, are you talking about the Katamari Damacy?
That's the one. Katamari. It was the wrong kind of food. I was thinking about calamari, and I was like, that isn't it. It must be a different Japanese-style food. Wow, take it away, Wolf. I think that's it.
All right, well,
he's going to have to ult, try and get away from this one, as Keen's doing some needlework. I am so embarrassed, even halfway through the team fight.
It was like Gory was trying to be away from his turret, and Afreeca said, "You can't beat it." They said, "Nah, nah, 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 nah."
Oh dear. Oh no. Are they?
Well, that misses.
Yeah. Are they going to go in on this? Keen probably wanted that to hit so that he could bait them in further, but it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, the snowball is rolling here. We're getting to the part where like you could start picking up phone booths and stuff like that as Afreeca.
All right. Yeah.
We're not quite at the part where you can pick up cars or small buildings, but like street signs, you know, things like that. That's where
Are
we're
we
at.
already up to street signs? I thought we'd be like up to household objects maybe. But is the snowball? It's 13 minutes.
Well, look, it's a comp that you already mentioned. As Jin Zhao starts to get a little bit fed, then it
That's
could be
true.
disastrous. He's already got his Gore Drinker. He's 2-0-2, 100% kill participation, along with Fly, actually.
All right, maybe it is up to like at least tables and chairs level of Katamari.
But you know, the composition for Afreeca is way stronger at skirmishing in these early fights because Jin Zhao's CC is so strong. Plus, you know, the damage that Tristana has even early is very strong, whereas Jace is so burst reliant. If he's not there, if he's not hitting those shockwaves, you can't fight. And Nongshim are better positioned here on this Drake.
Yeah, and Afreeca are going to go in because they have not a lot of fear. Doing pretty well at this point in the game, and in goes Dread after stealing away the Drake. Kellen will be the first one to go down, but he does go golden first. It's a lot of bomb damage onto 3 members there, but Peanut's not going to be able to keep himself alive, and this lockdown is just so strong. I swear as well, like, Lahens is having an incredible game when it comes to choosing his targets in these fights and skirmishes.
He's been so decisive. His recon has historically been so great, too.
Yeah.
Duckdom really wants to play with fire here.
Yeah, well, Keen's going to take a fair bit of damage here. Minefield is trodden through, but now Doctan. Oh, okay, that's great use of the mist from Keen.
Perfectly timed there from Keen. That was great to watch.
Yeah.
That was the reason why I thought that was very risky from Doctan, not to mention that Dread was fairly nearby, too. If he was even closer, then he turns on that and gets the kill. But watch the blast cone usage here. Dread and Lehens come through. Leo's on the right side, and Nongshim just caught in this awkward spot. They get slowed by Wind Becomes Lightning, and then Lehens is like, okay, well, if you're not going to leave, then be my guest, you know? And this is an early stopwatch broken for Kellen, too. Does not save him. And the throughput is not here in the fight for Doctan. Like, in the longer fight, he cannot do the same amount of damage as Leo can.
I mean, he, like, I don't know. I feel like the minefield was well placed. Like, it's just Peanut didn't quite find the smite, and Dread is so big. Look at this. Look at the gold rocket.
Yeah.
It's just nutty.
We're starting to get up to, if we weren't at phone booths before, we certainly are now.
Yeah, I think we're picking up phone booths. I think you're exactly right. As Fly is going to have to flash. Gets himself out of the way as the eye is being denied at the moment as in goes King. 1 versus 4. See whether he can keep himself alive here as he gets the wild growth. And the power of Gwen only getting larger as the Trist not quite in range. Probably would have had a field day there, but as we can see, the eye was picked up. Dread goes in and grabs it, so Shirley is going to do her job on the Rift.
And Nongshim need to be really careful about actually flirting with this fight here because, yeah, Doctan can once again throw out a combo or satchel somebody in, but besides that, like, you lose this exchange if you stay when Leo is nearby, and Leo's at full health. And the Hens and crew know this. They're like, oh, okay, you're going to back off and reset? Well, we're going to get more objectives on the map. We're even going to steal your blue away, remove some of that vision. And Rich is having a decent time up here, but that's all that's going okay really right now for Nongshim, sadly.
Yeah.
Early pickup of Dark Seal here for Gory too, interestingly enough, but that hasn't gone well for him just yet.
No, not so much. Hasn't been stacking it up necessarily, as both of our mid laners have the Oblivion Orbs online. Looking for some putrefaction, I believe. As Fly was thinking about backing, as Keen just snipping up the top side. You can tell that Jonah Strong's getting a little bit bored when he just chills up top lane and watches some engages, as Rich actually harassing quite nicely underneath this turret. But I don't think Keen's too worried about it.
Nope. Matching CS right now. It's a beautiful thing to watch. You know, in this matchup with the Gwen, they get this turret.
What do you do when the Xin walks at you, right?
You walk away.
Yeah.
Usually run away, actually, I should say.
Oh, man.
Well, you know, Nongshim, there's a way back into this game. It's going to be about fantastic engage. It's going to be about the burst damage they have at range. They kind of have to play this comp like a poke comp now and hope that they can actually explode somebody because otherwise Leo is just going to run away with this game, and they have such a great front line with the Sped, Jinzhao, with the Lulu to support it.
Yeah.
I was worried about this comp for Nongshim when I saw it in the draft, but like now that I see it in actual functionality, while Afreeca have won those fights that Nongshim shouldn't have taken, I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty impossible now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really good when the Xin Zhao's this far ahead.
Yeah.
Because then he becomes a legitimate body that it doesn't just go in and die, which can happen, even if he does have Crescent Guard.
Uh-oh, this could be a bit greedy for Leo and Punish. They know there's no ward here.
Yeah, Kellen just biding his time. As you can see, Leo just trying to clear out the wave, and he will do so, and then, ooh, no. Good.
Red's here.
There we go. Yeah,
that was scary.
Ooh.
No way.
No! He's just gonna die.
That's a big shutdown. Okay.
I said the no, and he still just went in.
Yeah.
It's like he wasn't listening.
I mean, that was really great patience from Kellen. And the early control ward he put down allowed him to make this play. And he sold the idea really well, or rather, Dunkdom sold the idea really well.
Yeah.
So props to them. That's their first kill on the board, and a lot of extra shutdown gold goes over to Dunkdom.
Indeed. Our two mid laners performing exactly the same function in this game. Both of them speeding people up in an AoE. Karma a little bit better at that. Fly can do it to a single target. And they're both putrefying as well, which is pretty cool. Level 11 here for Peanut will be gained before Dread does find his. And it looks like Afreeca are okay with giving up this Mountain Drake, looking to instead push towards this mid lane inner turret.
Yeah, Leo just not being up, and he's slowly walking over here now, so you just can't really look for that fight. But you could actually maybe threaten the inhibitor.
Yeah, you could get a double charge.
I think you definitely will
here. Yeah, Gory actually teleporting top lane. As no, looks like Rich is going to be able to take that, so they don't keep the pressure on.
A little bit slow to punish Gory here too, actually. So.
Yeah, and that teleport, immediately he goes back. So he clears out the wave.
Oh, man.
After teleporting, it's one wave, but they're still going to lose this turret because he realizes that the rotation is coming around. So bit of a mistake there from Gory, or at least a waste of a resource.
Waste of a resource for sure, but at least he's going to get out with his life. But yeah, that definitely hurts. As Rich going to go in here.
Yeah, see whether he can take Fly on. Still does have the needlework as the little tiny shock blast comes on down. Peanut splitting on the bottom side, does have his core drinker completed. We're going to have a look at this one more time. Yeah, Leo face checking. I like how we get the cool angle, watching him just explode. Oh my goodness.
That was to show that?
Yeah, I was going to say, that was brutal.
But that's why you don't check the bush with your face, kids at home.
Yeah.
Especially not in real life, that'll be very painful. But in the game of League of Legends, you don't want to walk in there when you don't have confirmation and you don't have a ward. And the idea there is maybe Duck Dom's just back in here. Maybe I can interrupt him and actually have a nice exchange. But
yeah, maybe I can get some damage onto the turret. But actually,
you
didn't really want to do that.
No. You're ahead already. Don't risk shutting that shutdown gold going over to Duck Dom, who now has a lot of extra items, or rather a lot of extra gold in his pocket to buy those crucial items.
Yep.
As this is very much Rich just narrowly escaping, threading the needle on getting out of there on the timing.
Yep, gets out. But it's a full Sterix in the lead, is Dread. He's pretty gigantic. His gold lead has stopped rising, though. Looking like the Cliffs of Dover a little bit at the moment. At least I think that's the right name of the cliffs.
I'm not sure what those are, so...
I grew up on the other side of the planet to literally everything, so it is difficult to understand geography all that effectively.
I mean, you could fit the faces of Mount Rushmore on that gold grab.
Mount what more?
Rushmore.
Oh, what's that? Oh, is that from Richie Rich?
No, it's actually like a real thing. Like with.
No, I know, but isn't it in Richie Rich?
I think so. I don't know, I haven't seen that in forever.
Okay. No, I think they hide a vault in Mount Rushmore in Richie Rich. So thankfully, American pop culture's got me covered when it comes to that particular piece of geography. Nailed it. Thank you, Richie Rich. Don't feel like a fool.
I hope one day we get like all the old LCK Legends spaces on like a cliff at some point. They deserve it.
Yeah. Maybe we could just cover up what's Mount Rushmore with League of Legends.
Yeah, I think that'd be better.
Wait, no,
to be honest.
I don't think that's right.
Mount Lolmore.
I didn't realize that would probably be an inappropriate name, but the only name we could really go with. Let's be real. Where would you put it? The Mount Lolmore.
I don't know.
Is there like a funniest place on Earth that you could put it? Or I guess it has to be a video game place. There's Lahen's gonna face check, Grand exits. Wind doesn't quite become lightning there from Dread.
No, certainly not, but it will soon. There's a storm brewing on the rift here, I think. As this game has slowed down quite a bit, as Nongshim are starting to play a lot safer and are willing to fight for vision but aren't overextending. Well, I say that, and...
Yeah, Kellen might just be dead here, as he'd already used a stopwatch prior. There's the knockup, but Keen pretty tanky. Keen's going to get in towards the backside as Dread. Now it's a Crescent Guard, able to ignore a bit of Doc Dom's damage here as Kellen knew he was going to die, tried to get as much CC down as Leo decided that it was time to go in. Doc Dom's still alive for now, and there's some low health bars, but they're just not able to lock down any of these kills.
Yeah, Doc Dom wants so badly to get in here, but he's just not able to do it. Oh my, I don't know about starring the Baron here, but they're going to go for it.
Core Drinker Zinzao with Lulu's support, I guess they can.
Doc Dom's here.
He's going to help him out for the moment, but I mean, Peanut's dead. They don't have a smite. Doc Dom does do a lot of damage. Mega Inferno Bomb is down, though.
This is ridiculous, Afreeca.
Yeah, Gory's coming in, and Rich is very scary. So Afreeca are going to back away from the Baron.
I mean, that was very dangerous, what Afreeca just tried to do there. Like, it was like, yeah.
It was double teleport back in, right?
Yeah, and I mean, they rotated over, teleport came through, I think just the one. I'd have to watch back to be sure, but still, like, with Duck Dom alone there, you're putting yourself at huge risk of just being blown up, and then once Rich comes in and he's got his Qs launching through those shock blasts, like, you cannot do that with your health bars at that state. I know Xin Zhao's fed and he is very strong and he can clear that very quickly, but this is realistic.
Yeah, they'll easily be able to take this. I actually think it's worth, because Afreeca get out with everyone alive, and they get 2 teleports for their trouble.
Yeah, no, if they
take
stayed, I would have been very regretful for them. But
Yes.
because they were able to escape,
Yep.
it's all good. Yeah, and like you said, trading up on those summoners.
In the wise words of Papa Smithy, Mundo's not found when it comes to Dread and his scoreline right here, and especially after that Baron play, he can certainly understand it. Is now going to check out Kellen, getting a little bit caught out, looking to clear out vision.
Yeah, this is just really greedy from him, and you know, Xin Zhao is going to catch any target he wants. Like, yeah, he gets caught here by the Satchel Charge, but he's got a Lulu, so with the items he has at this stage and how fed he is, and with the ability to just wild growth him, he can just go wherever he wants. Like, there's nothing stopping him. But the health bar is going low here means that they cannot finish the Baron, which I guess we're not going to take a look at, because on live, they're actually grouping up to potentially do a realistic Baron here.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead of Afreeca. I think they're playing this lead really effectively also. I mean, I know, like, Xin Zhao, relatively binary champion, right? But they're still keeping their feet on the gas. As Peanut in the area, no flash available, has to walk around this as lands. He knows what's going on, Grand Entrance. Not going to quite find it, though, as the Wild Growth is used on Rakan, and that is suboptimal.
Yeah.
As Dread, yeah, he's got Hysterics. He'll be all right, at least for now.
Gonna get a Sterex cooldown for that one.
Yes, indeed. But now Nongshim, with the fact that Dread being their most powerful champion, he's trying to go home. Gonna have to cancel that one. Is okay.
A little bit sloppy here from Afreeca actually across the board. Like you go in, you fail the engage, you have to use your wild growth, but you can't just back in front of them. This comp has so much range and so much poke. Like, this is the second time in a row I've seen Afreeca do something in this game where I'm like, I hope you don't think this is going to go well, because I have news.
But they are doing stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what we were talking about last week. Doing stuff is good.
Yeah.
If we ever get to another Saturday, Wolf, I might have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, last week was certainly a little bit...
Last week's Saturday, of course. I know Saturday is incoming. I'm not going to have a nervous breakdown then. Only if the League of Legends is at the same slow pace that we saw last Saturday.
We had a bit of a don't want to go greatly reluctant fighters kind of day.
It was definitely a lot like that.
But Afreeca have vision control over this Baron. And once again, if Nongshim kind of face check this or come in one by one, then this is disastrous. And that's partly because of the Xin Zhao pick, but also because Lehens is playing so well here. Look at all the vision removed now. And as Duckdom and Rich, you can't really do consistent poke damage when you don't have vision. I mean, yeah, you can blindly chunk people down like this, but you're not going to be able to do that consistently every time unless you slowly push through and slog through that vision. And what this gives Afreeca is a lot of power over what Nongshim have to do right now, because they have to fight around this or else they lose Baron. But that means Keen gets a side lane for free.
Yeah, Peanut in a little bit of trouble here. Wild Growth. Not invested just yet. He got a bit larger, but it wasn't because of that. I tell a lie. Get a little bit excited sometimes. As Rich just poking on through, you can see Afreeca with a lot of vision available. A minute and a half on this Drake. They still just want to do something, right? As you can see, Keen taking a red buff on the bottom side of the map.
He was split pushing bottom as well, and as soon as he realized Nongshim were not going to stay, he comes back up. And now that Nongshim have actually moved back to try to deal with him, like, this is a bit of a tug of war that Afreeca is playing right now, a little bit ping-ponging up Nongshim. They're going to start this Baron.
Get a blue trinket out as well, as Keen is going to rotate over. Rich is going to spot him as, oh my goodness, the burst damage out of Rich is ridiculous. But Keen does survive for the moment. He's dashing to try and get around the redemption. Doesn't really do too much. As Keen goes golden, has to flash immediately. At least he's rewarded for that summoner spell choices. Now Dread in a bit of trouble. They've split the fight really beautifully here in Afreeca. Want to be in that death ball. Flash out from Dread. There's a stopwatch. We'll see whether it's enough. The quickness is amazing, and Leo's doing the damage. Fly will be taken down, as now they're just going to collapse on top of the Jace. And Afreeca, they pull the trigger. Leo in a bit of trouble here as Lehens almost sacrifices himself for his 80 carries. Now Peanut thinks he might have found an option. The flashes come on in, as can Leo actually win this one? Rocket Jump gets him over the wall, as now Doctom's looking for Keen. Keen's looking for Doctom. They're all just trying to figure out how to navigate this situation.
If Keen gets the wraparound here, okay, they're gonna get out of here. That's gonna be everybody resets. You can see that all in Afreeca, they're also going back here. But this is another example of burst damage the blow-up potential, the pick potential Nongshim has versus damage output in a longer fight. The throughput was insane there for Leo. When he was given the space to work with, he just did massive amounts of damage, and when Peanut came on top of him too, there wasn't any follow-up to actually chase him down, so he just kind of was like, all right, well, if you keep coming at me, you will eventually die, so the fight ends. But Afreeca started this off very poorly because Keen is caught, right? Then you see Kellen flashes forward, but look, being in this choke point versus Duckdom is Duckdom's dream, right? He wants to be able to do tons of AoE in this position, and yet they still don't get those kills. They get the Lulu, but that's it. And then now Leo's like, no, it's time for you to turn around. Now you've used all your bursts. You've used all your cooldowns.
The quickness is just so beautiful from Lehens to allow them to answer this without just losing fly for nothing. Leo going in was somewhat subpar, but as we saw in the little picture-in-picture, Afreeca do get themselves to Mountain Soul point. And you're very happy with the Mountain Soul this game. Let's try and get through some of this poke as Dread to be able to find the W, as Rich is going to be a sad B as per usual as Lehens. Grand exit. Out he goes.
You can see the gold difference here has stayed here for Afreeca, but it has diminished a little bit as we reach 30 minutes. But Nongshim have done a great job of stemming the bleeding here. And once again, if they do blow up any of these targets in the early part of the fight, then the fight just snowballs into their favor. Like this game is on a knife's edge in terms of Nongshim either kill somebody early, get that explosive damage in, and win the fight, or they fail, they almost get a kill, and then Afreeca steamrolls the fight, which we saw last time. So it's not like a scaling argument, it's just a functionality argument, like how these two comps are very similar. They have a big carry, one's AP and burst, one is AD and throughput. So very much a different style of play between these two, but also very similar because of the mid lane.
Yeah, and also the poke factor as well coming out from Nongshim, and then just the hard engage availability from Afreeca with their Rakan that can just dash on in at a moment's notice.
Yeah, plus the Jinzhao that has wild growth available to him, so...
And very strong at the moment, which certainly needs to be mentioned.
It's a game where, you know, these objectives, the objective lead for Afreeca is pretty huge because it means they have a little bit more freedom to just avoid fights if there's a positional disadvantage at any moment. It's very similar to some of the games we've seen. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a 70-minute game, but the defender has an inherent advantage. The person who has the positional advantage has an inherent advantage. So if you ever lose control of an objective, it's hard to be the one to say, well, I'm going to walk towards that right now.
Yeah, and if Nongshim keep, like, defending Barons, I don't think Afreeca can ever siege, right?
Exactly.
Because it's a Karma and a Ziggs and a Jace. Like, you're never... A minion wave is just going to die by looking at those champions.
Yeah, it's like a rock, paper, scissors game, but both players are rock.
Yeah, I guess.
Although slightly different variations of rock.
Yeah.
But it's hard to actually crush through an attack. You're better off winning defensive fights. That's why Afreeca is so aggressively trying to posture for these Barons and then turn with them.
Well, Duckdom's top lane, so they're going to lose control of this mid. But it is 2 minutes until the Mountain Drake. So Duckdom doesn't need to worry.
For Nongshim to actually group on this Baron. But they're just going to keep pushing mid instead.
Gwen looking on over. We do have a red buff available in a couple of moments. As Nongshim looking to invade. They should be able to steal this one away. It's actually quite valuable. Speed-Up will be able to lock this one up.
Yep.
Rich actually going to collect it for himself.
That's pretty massive for the damage output he can have in these fights. Going to be also a little bit of extra gold.
Yep.
As he's about to get his 4th item online. Has the stopwatch too.
Duckdom has his Horizon focus though, and as these items start to come through, that's a good hook from Kellen. Crescent Guard going to come in, but Dread is almost out of the fight already. This teleport's optimistic through from Keen. As Rich gets taken down to about half, just doing some Gwen things here, but he gets exhausted. Let's see what he can actually make happen. Zonya's employed as Leo at full health, trying to get these free hits off. Okay, Peanut's going to flash forward. Leo's in trouble, smacked out of the air with a big old axe. That'll do it for you. As, oh dear, what a beautiful satchel charge, an even better shock blast. And Nongshim may have just stolen the game out from under Afreeca.
It looks like it here, man. And that was a great performance from Peanut. He has so much he can do in these moments where Afreeca are trying to retreat. He can just frontline his way away, and I think this is actually just going to be game over. Nothing you can do as Afreeca. Those respawn timers are way too long. They tried to group on the Baron, they tried to have that positional advantage, but Nongshim got the better of them.
Yeah, a little bit out of position, couldn't make the decisive play, and yeah, Peanut may even survive. He will just survive this. There goes the Nexus. Never doubted him, Wolf. No, I did, because Nongshim stole that one from Afreeca as they take game one.